coaster that a lot of coaster enthusiasts tend to just ignore is Steel Curtain at Kennywood. People seem to talk more about Max Force at Six Flags Great America, even though the rides opened around the same time, and Steel Curtain's often considered the better ride. But what is Steel Curtain like? A lot of coaster enthusiasts seem to think that it's going to be running one way when it's running pretty different. This is mainly due to a very popular review from a very popular YouTube channel that was posted back in 2019 that really got the ride experience wrong. So today, I wanted to talk about what the experience on Steel Curtain is actually like. For this review, I'm going to be using a 5-point review system that I've used on my articles before for reviewing rides in my articles. My review system looks at forces, smoothness, restraints, and operations, and then it looks at either appearance or theming, depending on if the ride is meant to be themed or not. Since Steel Curtain is not really meant to be a very well-themed roller coaster, we're just going to be looking at the ride's appearance and just how presentable it is. The first category is the ride force category. Steel Curtain is a very forceful ride. You feel strong positive G's in places like the valleys, and you can get some good flowjector airtime on several hills, and you even get some airtime that I would say is close to ejector going into the 0G stall. There is hang time on some of the inversions, but most of the inversions don't really have hang time. The inversions that have hang time would be the Drachenfire dive drop, the dive loop, and the 0G stall. Since it has very strong forces, in my opinion, and the forces are so diverse, I'm giving Steel Curtain a 10 out of 10 for ride force. The second category is ride smoothness. Steel Curtain is not a very smooth ride anymore. In 2019, it ran glass smooth, however, in 2020, it just isn't that smooth. It feels kind of bumpy, kind of like a wooden roller coaster, but not necessarily as extreme. If you look at Kennywood's wooden roller coasters, which are very well maintained compared to most parks' wooden coasters, it feels kind of like one of those. The first time I got back on Steel Curtain in 2021, I rode Steel Curtain, then I went directly to Racer, since everything was walk-on that day, and Racer felt very similar. And keep in mind that Racer is not a very forceful wooden roller coaster other than the ejector pop at the end of the ride, and it is very well maintained. But if you compare those two rides, they feel very similar when it comes to smoothness. Steel Curtain is a little bit smoother, but they're very comparable. Now, Steel Curtain's bumpiness doesn't take away from the ride. In fact, I would say it adds to the ride. However, since it's not completely smooth, I'm going to just give it a 9 out of 10. It's not smooth, but it's not rough, and the bumpiness doesn't take away from the ride. So, I don't think that it deserves to be a low score just because it's a little bumpy. The fourth category is operations. Because of Steel Curtain's retractable seatbelt and the length of the ride, pretty much, the operations just suck on Steel Curtain. So Steel Curtain has a very slow lift hill and has no blocks until the end of the ride. There's no mid-course brake run or anything. So for you to be clear to dispatch, it basically has to wait until the other train gets to the final brake run. Unlike some of the other rides at Kennywood. Like, if you look at Phantom's Revenge, for example, it's clear to dispatch once it clears the first main airtime hill. But Steel Curtain, it takes a while for it to be clear to dispatch, and the seatbelts really slow down the operations. And Steel Curtain's restraints can't accommodate for as large of guests as really any ride at the park. So it is very frequent for a guest to not be able to ride and have to get off. So that just really slows down operations. So operations, I have to give it a low score, 3 out of 10. The final category is the appearance category, and the category of just how presentable it is. Steel Curtain is a great looking ride. That's an unpopular opinion, but it looks fantastic in my opinion. If you look at the Lagoon, the combination of Steel Curtain, Aero 360, and Sky Coaster, along with the Lagoon, and from some angles, Steel Curtain and the Sky Coaster and Racer. Like, if you look at that, it just looks fantastic. And the ride's beautiful. It has a great paint job that almost looks cartoonish. But, yeah, I mean, I do like it partially just because of the black and gold colors. I think is a lot of why I like it so much. I mean, I've grown up with family who are big Steelers, Penguins, and Pirates fans. So I just like the combination of black and gold. So I think that's probably why I really like the appearance, because I grew up in Pittsburgh. But I mean, yeah, I mean, I think the ride looks great. It it gets just overhated. The color scheme is very well kept. It looks great. It's just pretty much perfect in appearance. I even say it looks better than Phantom's Revenge, which not a lot of people say. I think it's the best looking coaster in the park, except for in the summer Skyrocket. And I only say Skyrocket might look better sometimes because it has plants grown under it, and it's got a good paint job too. But I give Steel Curtain a 10 out of 10 here. Now for the final score. Steel Curtain gets a total of a 43 out of 50, which is an 8.6 out of 10 for its overall score. Now, if you take everything in consideration about the entire experience, I would give it a 9 out of 10, probably. It has great forces throughout the ride. It looks great. The operations might not be great, but it's just overall a fantastic ride. Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed, please consider checking out more videos on the channel, and please consider subscribing. If you use Instagram or Twitter, please consider following me there under the name Pittsburgh Thrills on Instagram and Pittsburgh Thrills YT on Twitter. And if you want to use any of the footage you see in this video, feel free to. It is my footage, and if you need, you can reach out to me, and I can probably send you some video files of it. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.